All right. So, marketing training 101. Here we go. So, the first thing that I want to let everybody know is OneNote or Notepad or Word, some sort of an application that you can, or you can even set up your own a Facebook chat that you message yourself things in. Having some sort of a document. So, I'll show you some examples of what I have. Um, so, inside of Notepad, I've got little snippets of things that I can copy and I can paste from automated response, some of the links, like the attraction marketing, links, etc. I have this file open pretty much all the time. And then what I'll do is I'll come in here and type a message. And then once I've typed the message, I'll copy it and paste it into Facebook. One of the reasons I do that is because for whatever reason, say if you're in just a chat group and you try to write something into the chat group, Facebook is always changing things. Like right now, you cannot hit the enter key without it just sending the message, right? So in order to make sure that I have it all formatted the way I want to send it to somebody else, I will first edit it in something like Notepad, make sure I have everything there that I want to be there, and then I will post it from there. The other thing that I use quite a bit is OneNote. So you'll notice a lot of these are Facebook post ideas. So whenever I see a good post that Mike puts together or Jason or somebody else, I will take the text from the post and drop it into here. And I'll, you know, each one of these little sections is its own part of a post of somebody else's post. So what I'll do is if I decide, okay, today I'm going to share this post, I can copy this out, put it into a post. If there's an image that goes with it, I'll have my image stored on a directory somewhere. And that way I can drop in the post and the image and send out the post. But I've got this collection of ideas of posts from what other people have put together. And then I'll kind of choose from that, which post do I want to put out. The reason I like OneNote for that is because I can take text, like if say this was an example of a post of somebody else's that I had seen, I can copy that and I can come over in here and start a new little box and paste it in. And now that particular box has just the information for that post. So it's a lot easier to copy and paste than it is to try to have different pages inside of a Google Doc or a Word document or something else. OneNote makes that pretty easy if you have access to OneNote. And then once I'm done with it and I post it, I'll just delete it, and now I have room to drop in some other posts, or I can drag them around in condensed space, whatever. So you'll want to have some sort of a place where you can keep track of this stuff. And as you start, building a team, you're going to want, the most common posts available anyways. So you'll notice that particular section that I highlighted is, here are the videos I mentioned, 5-minute overview, and that's the link to it, 45-minute webinar, and that's the link to it. Follow up with me after you watch them. You can get some of these kind of canned responses just saved so that when you post them in response to somebody, it's pretty easy. You just come over and grab one you've already done. Maybe you'll edit it a little bit because they've asked a question that this doesn't answer or whatever. But it makes it a lot easier as you start communicating with the leads that you're going to get from this. So that's one thing to keep in mind. Any clips, text, references to images, whatever. So you'll notice inside of the OneNote, I have a reference to an image, or find an image to place with it. Or in this case, I have Market Pro 2 image. So that way I know when I saved the image that went with that post, then I'll know what it's called on the hard drive, so I can make sure I put the right video with the right text. So that's the first note. The second thing I wanted to say before we actually get into creating the page is know what's on the getting started page. Right? So I've used the getting started page so much that all I have to do is type the letter A, and I just immediately get to Forsage getting started. So you want to know what's on here because you're going to share this with your prospects once they do sign up, once they do register. But it's also this whole step 5 area for the referring people. If you didn't have that sample like I have here, where it has the link to the cash injection page, well, it's on our getting started page. You can just right click on team community page, hit copy link address, and you've got the first thing that we share. And you'll notice the second thing it says we share is pick a prospect webinar from the resources area. So if you go down to the prospect webinars area, the one that I usually share is the one that I did with Mike from 11/19, but there are some other ones that you could use. For example, a Spanish translated one. There's one that Jason did. There's one that Susan and Mike did recently. So you just share one of the webinars and you share the team community page. But the reason I say to know what else is here is because as you start getting prospects coming in from this marketing, they're going to have questions. For example, if you find out that the prospect happens to be in, say, India or Nigeria or wherever, some other country where you've never set up a connection to an exchange in that location. Well, we have this short list of international exchanges. So this will tell you by country. So for Canada, they use, I think ShakePay is the most common one. But if you're in somebody in South Africa, then you probably want to use Luno, right? You need to know where to direct them to when it comes to getting their cryptocurrency. So there is a link to that right on the getting started page. Also the calculator. So the calculator has been updated. And if they ask questions like, well, how much does it cost me to get started? Then you can share the link to the calculator page. And this shows, okay, if they're going to get started at 1.1, of course, this ignores the X Gold costs because we don't really focus on that from a marketing standpoint. But you can kind of figure that in as well. So this would show somebody getting started at 1.1 is going to pay, $68 at the current going rates, plus this gas, which is calculated based upon a 45 GUI rate. So right now the going rate is 91. So you can set it lower than that. And that's one of the things you're going to want to help them do. So if they just go by the going rate of gas, they're probably going to pay more than $30 for the transaction fee. They're probably going to pay more like $70, and then they don't have as much money to get to level 2, right? So rather than give the money away to fees and pay the miners, pay the network, the more you can save them on the transaction and let it take a little while. If it takes a couple of hours for the transaction to go through when they're signing up, who cares? That saves them money, which is a good thing for them to understand. And they might have more money to put into level 2 or to maybe have enough to get into X Gold, for example, right? So that's what I mean by know what's on this page is all of the process for getting a new person started is here, and all of the training that we've done, including how to track your payments, how to lower the gas fees using MetaMask, how to lower the gas fees using Trust Wallet, right? There's videos that you can share from here, all of the webinars we've done, all the question and answer sessions we've done, and also a couple of marketing training is here, and the Facebook group is here. So this is all important once you get somebody started, but it's also important because I reference this page a lot. I will come in here and grab a link to a webinar, or I will grab the link to helping them know how much it costs to get started, or what exchanges to use, or the initial community page, etc. So know what's on this page. Also realize that there are some additional videos. So if we go to the team community page, all that is the 6-minute introduction to Forsage, right? 6 minutes, 40 seconds. There's nothing else on this page. There used to be, but it's been moved. So if you do want the videos to help somebody get through the next steps, then you go to Forsage-next-step, and that has the how to install MetaMask, how to purchase from Coinbase, how to transfer to MetaMask, and then how to register with Forsage. So if you want to know where those videos went, that's the page that you would go to. So being familiar with this will help, because the whole goal of the attraction marketing is to have people to work with. So you need to know what to do once they come in, right? So that's how I answer a lot of their questions, is by referencing things that are on that getting started page. It also helps to know that from a wallet app standpoint, if they're on a PC, you're going to use MetaMask. If they're on an Android, you're going to use Trust Wallet. And if they're on any Apple device, then you'll use Token Pocket. And all of the apps work basically the same, but so you can use the video that tells you how to use Trust Wallet, but they're all pretty much the same. So now let's dig a little bit more into the actual Facebook side of things. You need to know the difference between a profile, a group, and a page. So your profile is where you end up when you initially log into Facebook. So if I was at Google and I just hit my Facebook link, it just happens to go to, like your feed. It goes to showing you what other people have posted. But when you click on your name, that takes you to your profile page where you're able to make your own posts, whether with video or not, or audio, or I'm sorry, photos or not, etc. So when we talk about a profile, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about you. When you log in and you go to your name, so in my case, it's my name with 5 numbers after it, right? But that's the profile. This is where you connect to your friends. It's where you put all your photos that you're sharing with family, etc., right? If you go to the home button, then that'll give you a list of pages, groups, your original profile, etc. So let's talk about groups for a minute. So groups are collections of people that are talking about a particular subject. So for example, we have the Cash Injection Team Builder is the group that Mike made to talk about all of this marketing, what's coming with the funnels, what's going on in the team, etc. A group is, again, it's a collection of people. There are people that use groups for recruiting, and that is you create a group and you put in the right kind of posts. You can put in some announcement type posts. So in this case, Mike has one announcement, which is the welcome here message. You also have the ability inside of groups to have things like units. So if we go, for example, to this one will. So here's an example of one that has a units section. So that's one of the things that groups are good for, is having your team get together, and you can have a units area where you can put together like training for your team. So unit 1 goes through some information, unit 2 is different information, right? You can have these different units to set up training. So that's what the groups are really for. But again, you can set a group up to be a marketing group where you just add your friends and have the information, like have a couple of videos there, or that lead them through the information slowly. The problem with groups is that anybody can comment on those posts, and anybody can add other people in, because that's kind of the point, because you're trying to also have your team invite their people in so that they can see information and potentially get started. And all of those people, and a lot of which you have no control over who's being added and what mindset they're in, they can put some pretty dumb things on posts, and it can be kind of damaging. You want it to be all positive. You want it to be all here are the good things about being on our team, and here are some of the new things that we're doing, right? So a group is a little bit harder to control what actually gets onto the page, but some people have used them as a recruiting tool. What we really want to talk about here, though, is pages. A page, and the reason why you'd want a page, I've got 2 different ones. I have an older one that I used to use, which is Use Bitcoin to Upgrade Your Lifestyle by me. And I also have my one that I try to make look like a profile. It's just my name. That's the one that you want to be able to use. So one of the reasons I say that is because people will use some pretty crazy names for their business pages. Well, let me take a step back and say why you want one. A business page allows you to do advertising. It allows you to boost posts, which means it allows you to attract people that you're not currently connected to, right? That's the whole point of the attraction marketing, is attracting the type of people that you want to do business with. So that's why you would create a page. Now, the reason that I stopped using this one is because it was all geared towards a particular thing that I was doing, and it was geared around Bitcoin. So initially, I made a couple of posts in here saying, does anybody in here also want to learn about Ethereum, right? To get more towards what we were doing in Forsage, but it doesn't work very well. So what you really want to do is have a page that looks as close to a profile as you can. So that's why I use my name on my page. And that allows you to pivot. And what I mean by pivot is, if for some reason, you wanted to share information about something else, or, who knows, maybe there's some day that the government does find some way to shut down Forsage, which we don't foresee coming, but it could, right? Or maybe we've get tired of paying gas prices and find something that's just like it that we decide to pivot to. If you have a page already seasoned that is just like a profile, you can use that for anything. You can always pivot. You can always go in another direction. So that's another reason to use it like your name. So this just shows the pages that I manage. So to create your own page, you go into this pages area, and you might not have any that you start with, but you notice there's this create new page button. So to get here again, you would go to, you can go to the pages tab, which is up here. It doesn't matter if you start at your profile or somewhere else. If you go to the home tab, then you can see pages along the left. You can go directly to the pages tab. There's lots of different ways to get to the pages within the system.
Side note, Jeremy, another really easy way to get there, at the very screen you're looking at, just to the right of your name, on the right hand side there's a plus.
Yep.
If you click on that plus, that's create page as well.
Yeah, you can create page from there. So again, there's a lot of ways to get to the create page option. So you've got the button here. Once you're in pages, you can also just add a page. So notice group says connect with people to share your interests. A page says connect and share with customers or fans, right? So that's what you're going to want to do, is start a page. You're going to need to have some sort of an image to put into it. You're going to want to have a profile image. I would suggest making the profile image exactly the same as your profile. So whatever image you used for your profile, make that the same image here. And for that desktop background, there are tons of different tools out there that you can use to create these things. I'm going to show you one of the best tools out there. I'm going to open up a new tab, and I'm going to go to something called canva.com, CANVA. It's a free to use tool. You'll notice that it tries to say, hey, you can get, Canva Pro for free. It's for a little while. You don't need Canva Pro. All you need is Canva. And the nice thing about it is, when you try to create a design, they have all kinds of templates in place. So you notice right here, we've got Facebook post, social media. So if I go under templates on canva.com, there's Facebook post, there's also Facebook cover, right? So if I was to click on Facebook cover, it gives a bunch of templates for covers. I think I actually used this one. That should look familiar. There's the mountains on my picture, right? So I picked those mountains. I'm just going to do that again. You can say use this template, and then it creates a page that you have the ability to adjust everything on. So you can change out what the background picture is. You can use any one of the templates, or you can add your own. So you can go to the uploads area and upload a new image that you want to add in to use as the background. You just have to make sure it either is the right size, or if it's not the right size, then you can resize it. But it doesn't always fit nicely, or you have to have kind of the right shape to the picture to put one in there. So I'll just hit delete and get rid of that. Each one of these is a piece. You can, flip it, spin it, whatever. You can get rid of it. Just hit the delete key to get rid of it if you don't want those on there, or you can leave them there. You can add things. So under elements, there's all kinds of options. I'm not going to go through everything about Canva to know how to use it, but that's the general idea. Is it makes a really nice, easy to use image where you can quickly change the size of the text, change the color of the text. Right? You can do whatever you want by using all the options that are here. And when you're all done with it, all you do is you go up to this download button, and underneath download, you'll download a PNG. It already has the right size. When you click on download, it'll save it to your computer, and then you can upload that to Facebook. So you can use this Canva tool to create images for your Facebook posts as well, by the way. If I close out of this particular image and I go under templates and I say Facebook post, you can use that to make sure that you get the right sized template. So I can pick any one of these just to get the sizing down, say use this template. And now I've got the right size for a Facebook post image. You can change the text, you can change the image, you can do whatever you want to create your own images if you want. So for example, I would see a saying that somebody would put out there, and I would come in and put that saying into a picture and quote them inside of here. If there's a quote you want to use, you can add a picture and put the quote into the image. So it's a pretty nice tool, totally free to use. I think it's a little bit easier to create graphics than it is to use, like any sort of bitmap program or your GIMP, or there's tons of tools out there that you can use, but this is just free, online, easy to use. So use that to create your image that you're going to put in the background. And there are tons of videos out there on how to use pages and what all the different options are. So I'm not going to get into everything. The general idea is go through the settings area, go through the about area, and get that information filled in for your page. So if I was to explain everything about the setup of the page, then that itself would take over an hour. So I'm not going to get into all of the details to setting up a page. The best thing you can do is once you start and once you create that page, when you have the information that's needed, like the page name, which would just be your name, whatever your category is going to be. And by the way, I would recommend the category to be something like education, because it tends to play better than say e-commerce or a type of a store or crypto or something that's specific. If you use something simple like education, or maybe the category might be, I think they still have, they have fan page still. Yeah, they still have fan page. That's another option. It's either like education or fan page, something along those lines is the type of category that you want. That helps when it comes to the Facebook algorithms for when you start boosting your posts. You give it a description and then you create your page. So use an existing page. For example, so you'll see on my page, I used education. Once you have the page, then there's a lot of options. There's the settings area. There's your inbox, which is where you'll get your messages from new prospects that contact you. You'll get updates anytime that there's information about somebody liking your page, etc. You might want to follow up with people that like your page. Your ad center is where you'll see any ads that you boost. So we can talk about that a little bit more in a minute. But the general idea is you want to edit your page info. So fill in your categories, any of the information that you want to show. If you want to give an email, you can. If you want to give a website address, if you say you have a blog, for example, you can put that in there. Just go through all of the settings. and the page info. And if I, maybe at some point we can go through, if there's any particular settings that you really need to have set. I can't think of any right offhand. I mean, I've gone through these settings, but usually when I go through them, it's to look at things like just like page visibility. So right now my page is considered published. So at the point where you get all done and you have your background the way you want it, et cetera, and you want to make sure you move to a published page instead of a unpublished page. You can adjust, whether people are able to make posts on your page or not. I disable letting other people make posts on my page. So most of this will make sense. So, I mean, messages allow people to contact my page privately by showing the message button. You'll want them to be able to contact you with messages. That's the whole point of this. So again, I'm not going to go through all of it because there's a lot to it, and most of it is pretty intuitive. If you have any questions about any of that as you're setting things up, then feel free to message me and we can talk about specific options. And if I find that people have a lot of questions about certain settings, then I'll put it into the groups and let everybody know about it. For the most part, it's pretty straightforward. And once you're in the page settings, there's multiple pages. So there's messaging settings, page info settings, your description and everything is in there. How to handle your notifications. Do you want to get notifications in your email or through text messaging, etc.? You can see there's quite a bit here. So that sets up your generic information. The other thing you're going to want to do is create some posts. So we'll talk a little bit about what kind of posts that you want to create. But before I get to that, there's one more thing that I want to show you, which is in the inbox. So you notice inside of the inbox, I have a number of people who have contacted me for information, right? You'll want to go to the automated responses area. I turned everything off other than the instant reply. So if you click on this, like if I click on away message, it says that's off. If I click on frequently asked questions, that's off. Some of these things are on by default and they work in funny ways. You may like them. So for example, the frequently asked questions will tell people, here are some options of questions to ask you, so they give it, when they start messaging you, some automated, here's some things to ask me, questions. So you might like that. I found it kind of annoying myself. But the instant reply, you're going to want to set that on. And this is something you want to do prior to actually boosting any posts or getting the information out. Now, again, a lot of these things that you'll do, they'll help you with getting some free leads, but you may want to consider boosting some posts as well, which we'll start talking about the posts themselves and what they should be in a little bit here. But there are some posts that if you boost them, it only costs you can do $10 for 10 days, $1 a day. And if that starts bringing some people in that are messaging you, it's totally worth it, right? So it doesn't cost a lot to boost a post and it's effective. It does work. So let me show you real quick what I put into my instant reply. It's a little easier to read, I think, over here. It basically says, hi, so-and-so, it's got their name. And it says, our team is generating so much Ethereum right now. We're just excited to show people how we're doing it. I'll follow back up with you soon and share a video and a webinar I did with my business partner. And you can adjust the text to say that my two business partners put together, something along those lines. Remind me if I don't follow up, we have a lot of people reaching out. And then, are you just getting into cryptocurrency now, or have you had Bitcoin or Ethereum for a while? You want to end with a question. So the first question is trying to get an indication about how much do they know about cryptocurrency. So now let me explain why this response and how to be careful about adjusting it. So first of all, you want to use their first name. So I'll show you how to do that. When I go to edit the instant reply, you'll see the text that you can put in there, and you can edit this text. There's a button that says add personalization right underneath. So wherever you're at, like, so let's say I wanted to add a personalization right here. I put the cursor there, the little flashing bar, and I say add personalization. And I can say, you know, last name of recipient, first name of recipient, etc. So I put first name of recipient, and then that would show their first name, who's contacting, right? So that's what I did up in the beginning. I said hi, space, and then I inserted their first name. But that's the idea, is first you're talking about something exciting. You know, our team's generating a lot of Ethereum right now. That's something that's kind of exciting, and we're excited to show people how to do it, right? So marketing is about the message, and you're always marketing. Even in these little things like the replies, there's a little bit of marketing. And what that means is trying to keep them consistently excited about finding out more information from you, right? So you give them information about, I'm going to follow up with you soon, and here's what, you know, I'm going to be giving you, just to let them know, because this is an instant reply. So you want to give them something right away, but you don't want to just give them the links right away. And I'll explain why in a minute. But you want to let them know that you have them and that they're coming. And it's also talking about, you know, a little bit about that information. Now, why do I say, remind me if I don't follow up? We have a lot of people reaching out. Like when you first get started with this, you don't have anybody reaching out, right? But what that's saying is we have a lot of people reaching out. And from a team-wide standpoint, we do. So it's okay to say that. It's not really a fake it till you make it concept. It's more of a, they're getting this message as if you sat down and typed it real quick and you didn't have a lot of time, but it's letting them know that they need to follow up with you. Remind me if I don't follow up with you. That gives them the idea that the ball is in their court. It's not just about, oh my God, I can't wait to talk to you and I'm going to drop everything to do it. You know, my life revolves around getting you your comment, right? There's a mentality to the whole marketing game, so to speak, where if you're going to be attracting the right kind of people, you got to be talking to them in a way that sets the right frame of mind, that you are a busy person, you're in control of your business, you determine when you're going to reach out to somebody. And it's not necessarily just about that we have a lot of people that we're reaching out to, although that does help the message. It's more about setting the tone of, hey, make sure you get with me, right? And then you always want to end with some sort of a question. You're just opening up a conversation. So the first question just happens to be, I'm going to gather some information about, do they know anything about crypto yet? You know, so I'll show you some of the responses that people have sent to me in Messenger. And by the way, when I did not have the automated response, like I just gave you set up, the results were horrible in comparison to the ones that I did have that. So here's an example of one. So it sent it out. Yeah, so it did put the person's name. I got to fix that. So it's putting my name. I didn't notice that before. So they gave a response, you know, yeah, I've been in and out of it for 5 years, right? So they typically give some sort of a response. No matter what they initially say, the system is automatically sending this response to them. And then it says, and then they'll come back and give you some sort of an answer. They could say, you know, I'm new to this. I don't know anything about it. They could say they've been involved for a while. They can say they already have cryptocurrency. They know a lot about it. You know, who knows? But at least it gives you an idea about how much do I need to talk to them about cryptocurrency, et cetera. Every single time you do a response, you want to do it in audio, right? So you've got that initial set up inside of the automated responses. You're asking them a simple question. The next piece of it is I typically need 2 audios because 1 minute is not long enough and it'll only let you go for 1 minute. And by the way, I used to put in here, I'll connect to you from my personal profile because I didn't realize that I could leave audios here on the business page, but you can do that. So they used to have a way inside of Facebook Messenger where you could click on this plus sign and there was a little microphone and you could leave audio messages that were any length. Now you can only leave audio from a phone. And normally when I connect not using the Facebook app, but using the Messenger app on my phone, you do have the ability to go up to, in the upper left corner of Messenger, it shows a little picture of you. When you click on that, you can say switch account. And once you have a page, it'll show your page as one of the accounts. And then you'll see all of your messages from Messenger on your phone as well. And you can leave the audio response from there. So now, why an audio response? Because if you just leave text, they can glance at it and they can see just a question and they won't necessarily read everything or even understand everything, but they can quickly decide whether they're going to pay attention to you or not. By leaving an audio, it kind of forces them to listen to it. They're always curious about what the heck did he leave me on this audio, for one, so it gets them to actually pay attention to it. Number two, they'll listen to the whole thing. Most people, when they start an audio, will listen to the whole thing. Unlike videos, a lot of people will stop a video at some point. If they see that the audio is only a minute or that you've only got a couple of them, they'll usually listen to the whole thing. Number three, it's your voice. And by them hearing your voice, they don't assume they're talking to some bot or some, who knows who this person is. So you want to come across in that audio as, somewhat confident, you know what you're talking about, everything's exciting, that as close as you can get to. Now, I'm a computer guy. I'm not a real upbeat, excited all the time. I'm not Jason, right? I'm not the inspiration guy. This is just the way it is guy, right? Now, even with that, for the most part, I can get across a little bit of excitement. I might laugh a little bit while I'm talking or something just to say, I'm a real person. This is not just a recorded audio that I'm sending out to everybody, right? So the next question is, what do you put in these audios? The audio that you'll respond to them with is going to be fairly similar every time. You want to do something called edification. Edification means talk something up, make them want to pay attention. Now, ultimately, the whole point of this audio, because they contacted you, they said they're interested, right? They're saying, I want information about exactly what you're doing that led me to you. I'm talking about this stuff first instead of just what's in your posts, because you have to know how to handle when people do contact you before you even get to, what do I want to post and how do I lead the right people to me? The goal of these audios is to get them to ask you to send them links to the videos. So you notice after the audios, this particular person said, yes, I would like both, of course. Those numbers make excitement rise. I've seen a lot, but it's never been a full-time job, but I'm very interested, right? But the idea was I got him to answer my question up here about what he knows about crypto. I don't know what he knows, but I know he's at least been involved in it for a number of years. And now I got him to say, yes, I want both of those videos. So that's the point where I send the 5-minute cash injection overview and the 45-minute webinar. And I tell them, hey, follow up with me afterwards, right? So that's where that file comes in. This is just this top. I can copy that here are the videos I mentioned. And I can say that because I did mention them in these audios and he asked for them. So now I can drop that in here. And you'll notice that I don't do two separate just links. I always have text and I explain real quick what each link is. And I always have the cash injection link first. And the reason is I wanted to show cash injection system. I don't want any of these words to say Forsage. And if I link just the 45-minute webinar on its own, that particular webinar was named by Mike with the word Forsage in it for other marketing purposes, but still, I don't want them to see that yet. I want them to actually watch the videos before. It's called burying the lead. You don't want to give too much away up front. The ad that we'll talk about the post, the one that led them here doesn't say anything about Forsage. I don't say anything about Forsage up here. I don't say anything about Forsage in these, and we'll get back to these audios. And I don't say anything about Forsage here. It's mentioned in the videos, but I want them to watch the videos and I don't want them to prejudge. I can't tell you how many people I have on the team at this point who have been in Forsage before. And when I did make the mistake of mentioning what it is, they prejudge it and say, oh, I tried that before and it doesn't work for me. It didn't work for me. So you don't want them to prejudge it. You want them to actually watch the videos. Once they watch the video and they see the name, they might prejudge it. But the way that Mike comes into the webinar video, it doesn't start just talking about Forsage right away. It starts talking about how much money our team has made. It starts talking about the team building concept. There's more to it than just, oh, this is Forsage, and that's it, right? So now let me talk a little bit more about these two audios and exactly what you're going to put into them. So how do I edify them? Again, my goal is to get them to ask me for these two links, right? So what I'm going to say in these audios is something to this effect. Say, hey, Cade, I'm glad you reached out to me and you're looking for more information. I can see that you've been involved in it for a number of years now, so I probably don't have to go in too much detail about exactly what cryptocurrency is. But what is exciting is we've found a way to leverage some Ethereum smart contracts. The Ethereum smart contracts are used sort of as a payment system for the project that we're building. So what we've been putting together is pretty incredible. I've already earned over 120 Ethereum myself, but what's better than that is the fact that our team has been able to earn over 12,000 Ethereum using this. We have a lot of people who have never done this before, and they come in and using our team building strategy, which is what we've built on top of this smart contract, they've been able to make some money, and they've never, even though they've had trouble before, they've struggled before, they didn't make money before. So it's really important that you watch the 45-minute video, because that's explaining how we are leveraging that smart contract. And that when you're done with that, I can go into some more details about the additional products and the marketing and all kinds of things that we're doing to really make this system shine. So, do you want to see that 5-minute video first or the 45-minute webinar, or would you rather see both? And that's how I end it. Now, it's not scripted. It's not exactly the same. I try to incorporate a little bit about what they told me. I make sure that their name is in the audio. But the general idea is to somehow emphasize that we're doing something different. We're doing something unique. This is not just Forsage. This 5-minute overview is literally just to give you an idea about how the payment system works. But you really want to watch the webinar, because that explains how what we're doing is so unique, so different, it's so good. I might edify Mike on there, or in your case, you may edify, because both of us are on that video. You may edify, both of us. You can say, these are my business partners. One of them is, a genius at marketing. He understands how to put that together, funnels and advertising and all of the stuff that goes along with making a system work really well and never running out of people to talk to. The other guy is a really technically minded person who has actually read all of the code behind Forsage. he knows that this is a great system, and they got together and put together this webinar to really explain how our team is taking advantage of this, right? So your audios are still marketing. They've already came to you and said they're interested, but you still have to continue not hyping, but edifying the videos. You have to make them want to watch the videos. You have to get them to ask you for those videos. So that's the point of, if you can do it in one audio, fine. If it takes two, it usually takes me two, then that's fine, right? And then once they watch the videos, now in this case, he says, I'm extremely interested. We started moving on, and the next steps are to get as much ETH as they want, et cetera. So, it moved on from there. But that's literally how quick it works. Now, if they don't respond to you, then they may not be the right prospect, right? You can move on. You don't have to worry about it, or you can follow up with them, because it's true that a number of them won't respond until the follow-up. So I wanted to go through this part first, because this whole concept of how to follow up with somebody is super important. You edify the videos, you have confidence when you're speaking, you try to be upbeat. And I wanted to get across the idea that you're technically always marketing. So even though he's already asked for the videos in this case, I didn't just drop the links, right? I still talked about it, because maybe he's going to not get back to this for a day or two, right? But when he does, he's like, oh yeah, that 5-minute overview of the smart contract, that's what he was talking about. Let me look at that real quick. Or yeah, he did talk about that 45-minute webinar that marketing genius put together with him, right? They've got it in mind, and now they know which link is which, and you don't just drop the links. So you're always marketing is, I guess, the point of that. So the next thing is to start talking about posts and the point behind the posts. So you guys are welcome to go to my page, which is, it's just Facebook, and then Jeremy James Marketing. That's where my business page is. You can see the posts that I've put in there. And the idea is not to just share someone else's posts, right? When you share someone else's posts, that actually helps them in the Facebook algorithms, because it looks at how many people were reached with the post. It also looks at, did people like it or not? It looks at whether people shared it or not. There's a lot of things that can happen that tend to make that post seen by more people. What you want to do is find some posts that are good and reword them a little bit. And you'll see, if you look at my page and then you look at Mike's page as just another example. Yeah, there it is. So his is Mike Klingler Fans is the name of his. If you scroll down through his posts, give you a quick glance of them. So we scroll through them real quick. Right? And then you scroll through mine. Some of the images you'll see. There's that one. That's one of his images. Those are like his. That was like his. Right? There's the crypto one. They're very similar. But you'll notice, as an example, this particular one. So if you look at the words for his, the first 45 days of our launch, right? If you look at mine, in the first 12 weeks of our launch, right? But it's not a lot different. I took his post, I made my own changes to it, and then I reposted it. So you'll notice that the content of the wording of the post is similar, but not exactly the same. You'll want to find good posts in our pages that you can reword. If I click on the image from his post, I can now just right click and say save image as, and I now have a copy of the image that he used. And then I copy the words. And then I go back to my page and I start a new post by adding the photo or video. I would pick the photo that I saved, and then I would paste in the words. Oh, apparently I didn't copy the words the right way. So I'd paste in the words, and then I would start editing it and make it sound like me and go from there. Now, if I wanted to boost the post, which means pay for advertising to have people see it other than the people I already know, then you would turn on boosting a post here. And if I want to add a button so that when they connect to me, I can do get messages, and that'll add a send message button to that post. So if you are going to boost the post, you definitely want to do that send message. And then you would say post. And it's that simple. And if you did boost it, then it's going to start asking you some additional questions, which I'll go into the ad center and I'll show you what some of those questions are in a minute. But that's it. It's that simple. You go out, find a post that you really like. And like I said, I will take a lot of those posts that I really like, and I will put them into a page like this. And I might even edit them here, or I might wait and edit it later. But I'll grab some really good posts and I'll reference what image was used for that post. So now when I'm ready to go in and put on a post myself, I do the exact same thing. I pull up that image, I put in some text, make the text sound like my own. I may boost it if that's what I choose to do, and if I do, I add the send messages button. That's really all there is to making a post. And I will also post the exact same thing on my my profile page. So if I go back to my profile, so you'll see there's that post, spend as little time as possible training. If I go to my main page, what's it say? Spend as little time as possible training. Both posts are there on my profile and my main page. One thing that's kind of nice to know about the business page though is you can schedule posts. I've never tried it on my profile, but you can schedule posts. So if you don't have a lot of time to be doing this, schedule some posts on a Sunday to go out for the rest of the week. Spend like 2 hours on a day that you have free or available. Go out to Mike's page, go out to my page, go to Jason's page, go to other people in your upline and grab some posts and find content that you like until you get good at making your own, which you technically never have to do because there's always going to be a ton of content on Mike's page, my page, etc. You can also grab information from the Action Takers chat group, something that I've shared that's informational that you think other people might like to know. You could reframe it as a post. You could take something that Mike puts in there. You could take something that Mike puts into the cash injection group, and you could. So if we go to that cash injection group, you may find something posted in there. Let's see. So here's an example of a post he made. You might find a way to take this information and adjust it into a good post to put out there. You may want to share video, you may not. Images, there's images here in this group that you can use. There's that crypto image right here, right? So you can collect it all up and spend a couple of hours putting together all the posts you want to do and have all the content so it's going out. If possible, you want to have anywhere between 1 to maybe 3 posts on a given day. You don't want to have too many per day. The only time where I would say that that's not like a rule is when you're first creating your page. So you want to go out and grab a bunch of posts. You could scroll down to, near the bottom of my page and grab. So really it starts with this particular post is where I started posting about this the Forsage project, it really starts right here. So you could grab a bunch of these posts and use this content to season your page. So when I say seasoning your page, Facebook doesn't like certain ads. They're not going to like you to have words in your ads that talk about something like make money fast, or join us, or there's certain words like Bitcoin or some of the cryptocurrency words that they might throw out. There's a number of things that will stop your ad for, and if you try to put through enough ads that have the inappropriate uh, language, then they may even cancel your entire account. So you want to be careful, with what you're putting in to boost. The general idea is, if you are going to boost a post, and that's why you're seasoning your page, you want to have content here, right? If the only post you have here is the post that you've boosted, and somebody comes to this page and they don't have other things to scroll through to see what you post about, then you've kind of lost that prospect. They're probably not going to leave a message. They're probably not going to want to, move forward with you. So the goal is to have the right kind of content on the page and your profile, because they may then go from your page to your profile. You want to have that information there so that they can see what kind of posts you make and decide whether they want to, send you a message or get into business with you, right? Because that's what they'd be doing. They're getting into business with you. They need enough information to go on to see, whether you're the type of person that they want to work with. So talking about that, there's really 3 types of posts that we do. So number 1 is mindset. Mindset posts are, well, let me back up before I talk about the 3 types. Let's talk about the idea that when you embark on doing Facebook posts as a means of bringing in business, you're kind of switching from I'm using Facebook as a social platform to I'm using Facebook as a business office, so to speak. There's a mindset shift there of your own that you'll want to go through. And the reason I say that is I fought personally for the longest time against doing something like this. Because in my mind, I always said everybody I'm connected to on Facebook is friends, family, people I went to high school or college with, people that are the parents of the kids that my kids are friends with, right? Or that were involved in scouts or whatever, right? And I fought with Mike on this actually for quite a while, because it didn't make any sense to me why I would be making posts about business or mindset or marketing or whatever on my personal profile page. Made absolutely no sense. It said that I already know most of the people that I'm connected to are not going to do this business with me. It's just what it comes down to. Whether it's prejudging or, they don't know me in that way. They know me as, another parent or somebody, who they went to school with or whatever. They don't really know me as a marketer, as somebody who's good at what we do here. So I said, why would I want to make those posts? So the mentality of it is, A, you're not talking to those people. Now there will be some. I actually did have a couple of signups from people that I was friends with that I just hadn't talked to yet, who saw the change in my posts and they wanted to get into business with me. It does happen. I've also had some pretty interesting conversations with family members who I never knew would have any interest in cryptocurrency or doing a business, et cetera. But now we have these conversations about cryptocurrency, which is pretty cool. It's another reason to talk to some of the people that I already, care about. But it was really the idea that you're not actually talking to them. You're talking to the people that you would like to be in business with through the Facebook algorithms. Facebook will take into account who you're currently friends with, what groups you're in, what types of things you're posting, what type of content, are in those posts, but also who's paying attention to those posts. And all of these factors, all of these different things come into play. So this is the thing to understand is when Mike makes a post, or if I make a post, we may get some engagement right away because of the people that we're already associated with, because we've been doing things like this for years. If you're brand new to this, that may take some time. So again, you're not really just talking to the people you already know, even though some of them may be interested. And you're not even just talking to the people that you want to talk to. You're talking to the Facebook algorithms and trying to kind of train it on who do I want to be in business with. So when you do get somebody, leaving comments on your post, for example, if they're negative comments, just delete them. Don't engage with them, because Facebook will look at those engagements and say, oh, this is the kind of person he wants to talk to. And you'll get more negative people, right? So just delete them. You don't even need them there. If it's a good comment, you may want to leave it, but that is also potentially dangerous. I've had a lot of people who they put a good comment on there, and I even engaged with them on the comment. And what happened was when they went to reply to that comment, the reply actually was under the other person who commented, and that other person happened to also be in Forsage and took those people as leads for themselves. So it's not necessarily a good idea to even leave the positive comments, at least on the post that you're boosting. So if you're not boosting the post, you probably don't have to worry about it. So now again, the reason you want to post both on your business page and your personal page is because there's not a lot of people that follow your business page and know every time you post something there. The whole goal of the business page is to eventually be able to do advertising and bring in people that you don't currently know, using the Facebook algorithms and connecting to the people that you're trying to connect to, that you're trying to attract into your business. But if you don't have those same posts on your personal profile, then when they take a look at who you are, which they will do, and all they see on your personal profile is posts about politics, posts that are jokes, posts that are, opinionated, religious, you name it. I'm not saying you can't have those posts. I'm not saying not to have your jokes out there, etc. But you will potentially eliminate good prospects by doing that. When you switch away from using Facebook as just a social platform and use it for marketing purposes, so it can be a good idea to at least be more careful, about what you're posting in your profile, because it may or may not attract somebody to you. Now, if let's say you're really into, I don't know, biking or playing video games, or who knows, whatever it happens to be, you may want to attract other people that are into those same things. So there's nothing wrong with that. But you may also turn away certain people. So it's kind of a, it's a catch-22. You have to play that by ear, and you have to figure out how you're going to integrate business into your personal, if you still want to use it also for, social reasons. So that's up to you, but it's just something to be aware of, right? So now when we talked about what your posts are meant for is talking to the Facebook algorithms and to help it, I also said who you're already friends with and who you're already in groups with does matter. It does play into the equation. So because I had done some Bitcoin posts in the past, I had already been involved with cryptocurrency. There's quite a few people I'm connected to that I'm not really friends with. They may have connected to me trying to get me into their Bitcoin Ponzi scheme, right? I mean, who knows why they connected to me? I get friend requests all the time. Every time I get a friend request, I look at that friend request very purposefully. So let me show you an example. I don't happen to have one right now, but there's one that I just had recently. So I control click and I'll bring up that friend. What I'm going to be looking at is what they put in here as, who they are, right? That's what the point of this text is. Some don't have anything, some have stuff there, some don't. Usually they'll mention something like, if they're doing Bitcoin mining Ponzi schemes, they're going to have it here because they're trying to get as many people into that as they can, right? So you don't always have to shy away from that group, but you do want to shy away from connecting to people that are not involved in the things that you're going to be doing as you move forward, as you start, building this business and connecting to people. So you can look at some of their posts and you can see what they're about. Okay, they're stock charts here, right? Either stocks or crypto or something. This is probably either crypto or stocks, right? He's got pictures in nice places. Might be the kind of person that I want to be associated with. I'm not into monster trucks myself, but I know they cost money. He's not somebody who's broke, right? So you can look at whether it's somebody that you want to be connected to, and then you can either, connect to them or not, right? So now I'm connected to that particular person. Facebook will take into account all the people that you're connected to. It will also take into account any groups that you're in. So for example, I get into certain groups like, there's some crypto ones, something like this, people looking for network marketing opportunities, right? And I'll connect to groups like that because that helps the algorithms know people who would be involved in something like this might be the kind of people that I want to connect to, right? Affiliate marketing for absolute beginners. I might not be connected directly to the people who are in this group, but the idea of affiliate marketing is the type of people that I want to attract to my posts. Stock trading training, right? This one, 2 Comma Club, happens to be something in the funnel area. So marketing and funnels, when you talk about Steve Larsen or Russell Brunson, some of the people that are really big into making funnels, high converting offers. Your funnels is what this group is about. It trains the algorithms, the type of people that I want to be associated with. Elite Marketing Pro community, right? This is just a group of people who are all about trying to learn how to do attraction marketing, right? Leadership groups, people that are trying to figure out, how to be a good leader. And that may be, they're trying to figure out how to be a leader in the business world, not even in the network marketing world, right? But by being part of this group, it helps Facebook understand the type of people I want to attract, that I want to connect to. Now, another thing you can do, by the way, and this is a little bit outside of what we're talking about in attraction marketing, but it does help. You can go into some of these groups and you can post something, or you can comment on other people's posts. That also will help feed the algorithms to let the system know what type of people and what type of content to connect you with. All of these things help when it comes time to do a boosted post and attract more people in. So it does take some time to get some of that background set up, but the general idea is when Facebook knows who to put you in front of, and you have a bunch of content on your business page and your personal page that is attractive to those people, then later on, when we start getting to the point where we have the marketing funnels in place that Mike's working on right now, it'll be that much easier to build a business from the funnel because you've already got everything in place where somebody can contact you and see, yeah, okay, this is the type of person that, this is all for the most part that they're talking about is Ethereum and cash injections and marketing and, how to market. It looks like they know what they're talking about, right? It looks like they're a business person, not just constantly joking around or whatever. But that's the idea. So now, having said that, again, now I can get back to what types of posts you want to put in here, and that there are 3 different kinds. So the first one is mindset, right? So mindset, so this is an example of a mindset post. Spend as little time as possible training or helping other people that don't want it as bad as you want it for them, right? That's speaking to the mindset of a person who is a team builder, who might have spent a lot of time trying to help everybody and not enough time trying to just help the people who want to do something, right? I don't want to attract people that I have to drag through the mud. I don't want to attract people that I have to convince to do everything. So I'm talking about spending time on activities that produce results. I bring up goals, training, and other non-income producing activities, but I'm really talking about I want to work with people that spend more time on activities that produce results. Drive right behaviors with accountability, right? So there's key words that are in here that are talking about the mindset of the type of person that you want to work with. Somebody knows how to motivate and train their team, right? How to use accountability again that word comes up again. Accountability down here. People that are accountable for their actions, that they're basically self-starters, right? It speaks to the mindset, the type of person that I want to be in business with. Want to hear a marketing secret? Attract people who know how to market already, right? This is not just talking, it's not a post where I'm talking to my team. It's not a post where I'm training people. I got some engagement from it, right? But it's a mindset post. I've noticed on a number of people's posts that they make, they will do mindset in terms of, get out of your rut, finally do something different. If you say things along those lines, what you're attracting is people that have not been successful. You're trying to say, join me so you can finally be successful. That's not the kind of person, that's not the mindset that you want to attract, right? So you got to be careful, or at least be cognizant of what you're putting into your posts when it comes to the mindset posts. Talk about setting big goals, like huge goals, right? I want people that are goal setters. I want people who are that, okay, talk about attracting high quality leads, right? People that reach out to you. So there's a tricky aspect to marketing where you talk about, by the way, we share everything that we do, we do marketing, we work on messaging, etc., to attract lots of high quality leads. This is actually both marketing and mindset, but the point of this is mindset. I'm looking for people that have done something like this before. They've gone out and looked for leads before. Maybe they've made posts on their page, etc., right? Marketing is subtle. It's not about blatantly saying, I found this really awesome thing, come do it with me. Marketing is more just being transparent and talking about what you're doing. And if you're not successful with it yet, then it's using stories of people who are. Our team is very successful. You're part of that team, right? Use that to your advantage. When you see cool things like Mike posted one day, earning an Ethereum a day keeps inflation away. Well, I grabbed that. I put his name on it. And in this case, I said, if you want to know how, too bad, right? I mean, it's just, there's a little bit of humor there, but then I say, yeah, let me know if you want to see the Ethereum smart contract we're leveraging. This is one of the rare posts where I actually had a call to action. It's not very often that I put into my post, contact me. I might do it once a week, if that. I try not to do it at all. But that is another type of post, is the ones where you're talking about money, or you're talking about success, or crypto, or the types of posts where you're saying, contact me, that are a roundabout way of talking about the business without blatantly saying, hey, come join us in Corsage, right? There's one post that I made, which is this one, that whoops. If anybody knows Forsage, they know that's what this is. I really hesitated putting this out here. The only reason I did was because Mike was asking for some posts that showed the money. So I finally made one. But ultimately, what my point of this was is sticking with it, having the right mindset of not jumping around, not hopping from one program to another. It's the idea that our team has made a whole bunch of money, not just what I made. Most people look at this post and they say, oh, he's boasting about, having made $160,000. Really what this is about is somebody else had said they made 165,000 on their first day. And I'm saying, well, I might not have done that in one day, but I did it in a few months, right? But what's more important is that our team has generated a lot. It's not all about me. And I'm not jumping around from program to program like the person who made that in one day probably is doing. That person's going to burn out their team because they're jumping around to different programs and they're making a lot of money, but they're not helping their team make any money, right? So there's more to this post than just the attraction of seeing somebody made a bunch of money, which is what this gets mistaken as. The whole point of this is the not hopping from one program to another. But even with saying, when I say something like learn to attract the right kind of prospect who's already ready to rock and roll, that's a little bit towards the mindset, but it's not an exact call to action. I'm not saying message me for information, message me to get started with us, anything like that. It's an informational post that if somebody thinks, oh my gosh, how did he do that? And messages me to find out how he did that, then that's an effective way of getting somebody to talk to you. But at the point where you ask them to reach out to you, you're going to have less engagement. One of the most successful posts I've had in bringing other people in, it did happen to have the crypto in it, which is this one here. Facebook doesn't always look at what's in the image, so you can kind of get away with things like this once in a while, but I'm waiting for this post to be shut down. But other people have posted this exact same picture and didn't have any success with it or had Facebook deny them being able to post that as a boosted post. And the reason was the wording that they used. So I'll show you a post that I had denied, and I'll tell you why I had it denied. So that is this one. You can see it was rejected, right? When I went back and I looked at the text, it was pretty obvious why they rejected it. So let's go through the text real quick. And by the way, my goal of this post was to just talk about how I was trying to talk to an audience. This would be a marketing post, which is, 2 out of the 3 types. I'm trying to talk to people that understand marketing a little bit, possibly, or at least know what it's about. And my goal was to say, hey, you might have made marketing funnels or landing pages, capture pages, maybe you've done those things in the past and they weren't very successful. How would you like to have one that's made for you? That was really kind of the idea, which is what, Mike does for us. He puts together these funnels that we can just use. So I was talking about, we're working on these sections of our marketing funnel right now, so that you and your teams and future teams will know their options, generate leads, have everything presented on your behalf, etc. Right? The deluxe funnel will be incredibly advanced. Starts talking about, automated follow-ups, automated text messages, etc. But what I didn't realize was when I rewrote the text for this, I dropped in multiple streams of income. Facebook's going to instantly throw that out. And when you talk about, so multiple streams of income, you talk about network marketing directly, not indirectly. If you talk about crypto directly, not indirectly, as in here's what our team has done or made, as opposed to we can help you generate Ethereum, right? That will be thrown out. We will help you do this, or come join us, or get multiple streams of income. Those types of posts, there's no way they're going to let you boost those to find more people. They're too spammy. They're not really marketing. They're more just advertising. which, there's a difference between those two things. So that gives you an example of a post that was rejected. I didn't even try to adjust it and boost it again or anything like that, because at that point they had already had a little bit of a flag on my account. So I went back to boosting a different post that was working. Okay. Here's one more mindset one. It energized, turned frustration into action, motivation, action beats training. These types of words lead to somebody who doesn't give up. They keep going, and they're motivated, energized, etc. Right. So back to the three types. Number one is mindset. So I've shown you some examples of mindset. What to do, what not to do. Try to avoid attracting people that are going to cause you a lot more headaches and work, people that you're going to have to drag. You can always circle back and help people that need help. But, I'll give you another example, one more example of some mindset. If we look at, so Robert Hollis, one of my mentors, tends to put out some really good stuff on his posts, right? He gets these ones that they look good and they say very good things, right? This one is talking about, renewing your mind. It happens to be a quote from the Bible. I personally would not post this one because it could potentially detract people that don't like Bible quotes. But if that's who you want to attract in your business, then that's, it's totally fine. Let me get to some of the mindset ones. Okay, so here's one. Some teachers teach for others to learn. That's not me. Some teachers teach for others to accomplish. That is me. So that's actually a pretty good one. It's about teaching people to learn and accomplish. So that's actually not a bad post. And I might take, again, I might use Canva and put a different picture in the background and maybe use the same words, and maybe even, quote Robert Hollis if I was going to make my own post of that. So there we go. These are the types that I was looking for. Chains of habit are too light to be felt until they are too heavy to be broken, right? So it's talking about habits being chained down, etc. Right? It's a good saying. It's a quote from Warren Buffett in this case. But when you're talking about the number one type of post, which is mindset, this is talking about somebody who is stuck in the wrong habits. They're stuck in a certain way of doing things, and you're trying to tell them there might be a better way, right? You might be talking to the wrong people with that type of a post. You're not talking to somebody who's already successful, somebody who's already motivated, right? Don't repeat the old mistakes, right? That's technically talking about somebody who might be in a rut, trying to get them out of a rut and do something new. I wouldn't necessarily post something with that type of mindset. So perhaps the world isn't giving you what you want because based on all of your distractions and lack of discipline, it's simply unclear what you're asking for, right? So I'm not saying this is a bad post. What I'm saying is when you're trying to attract the right people, this is more talking to people who are distracted and have a lack of discipline. Maybe they're not asking for the right things. You could reword this in your own words and talk about how, you really like working with people who are clear of what they're asking for, clear of what they want, clear of their goals, right? So I think I had one of those posts that I just showed right here. Be very clear on the life you want to live and the results you're after. When you are, the more you'll attract the people who are also clear. I don't use the words that talk about the people who are not already in this mindset. So hopefully that helps. Hopefully that makes sense, what you're looking for and what you're trying to put out there. So I'm talking about huge advantages, making money online. So I can't boost this one, right? Copywriting, funnel, sales, everything is about being clear on the life that you want, right? Purpose driven is the key to it all, right? So it's kind of saying the same thing as what he was saying here, but in a way where the words are talking to somebody who's already in that mindset. So hopefully that helps. So that's the first type, is mindset. The second one is marketing. We talk about these messages about stay tuned, third rocket is coming, right? These are marketing messages where we show a little bit, show images from the funnel that Mike's putting together to give people a hint of what's to come, and how we treat this as a business on top of the Forsage payment system, as opposed to just we're doing Forsage, right? So that's what the marketing ones are. And then the third type is talking about like cryptocurrency, or like that's an example of crypto. This is an example of crypto talking about the banking system, how crypto is on fire. And another example of, so this is marketing, 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 lifestyle or mindset, a little bit of marketing and mindset, etc. Right? And then a little bit about, money. I know I had another one that showed, somehow I missed it, but anyway. So when you're talking about posts that show like a graph of how Ethereum has risen recently, um, things along those lines. I think I just put that one on my, maybe I only had it on my personal account. Yeah, so like this, where you're showing a graph of the Ethereum, talking about Bitcoin and Ethereum, et cetera, right? So this would be an example of a cryptocurrency post. And so that's the third type of thing that you may want to have out there, is just talking about Ethereum, how it's different than Bitcoin, how some people say that Ethereum could potentially be bigger than Bitcoin someday because it's a lot more versatile, and the smart contract language is capable of doing things that the Bitcoin smart contract language is not capable of doing. And you have the dApps, you have the ability to do stuff with Ethereum, which you don't have. Bitcoin is really just a cryptocurrency. People are trying to do smart contracts with it, but most of those are fake because they can't actually do it with their language. So they have some aspect of centralized as opposed to decentralized inside of those, which makes most of them Ponzi schemes. But I'm not going to get off on that subject. But the idea is you can talk about, if you know about these things, or if you find those things, or if you want to post about those things, all of this comes down to finding good posts that other people have made, rewriting them in your own words instead of just sharing them, and reposting them. Between looking at Mike's page, my page, a number of other pages, maybe Robert Hollis's page, you can also go to Jason Cardamone. So he usually has some pretty good posts that you can copy. This is his personal profile, not his business page, but there's usually some good stuff there. So that's jason.cardamone. So there's tons of people that you can model. You can copy the posts and make your own version of them and repost them. That's really what it comes down to. So now, very quickly, let's actually look at one of the ads that I boosted. So, I mean, you don't have to do boosting posts. It does cost money. I've spent $30 on this one over, I think it was like 30 days or something like that so far. But you can look at the, let's look at one of these to show you a little bit about what the ad looks like. So it gives you a little preview of the text that's going to show up. It tells you how much money you're planning on spending and what the end date is. So depending upon what the end date is, divided by the total money, that tells you how much per day is going to be spent on that ad. Again, you want to make sure you have that send message button inside of your post if you're going to boost it. And I showed you how to do that earlier. You can rewind the replay if you want to see that. Audience details, you can include, so if I go to edit here, you can do detailed targeting. So you can add in words of people or groups that you would like to get your ad in front of. So you can use popular people in the network marketing industry, people like Eric Worre, just as an example. There's many others. And by the way, the more detailed targeting that you do that's different than what I do can actually help you get to a different crowd than what I'm getting to, right? So all of us can be making very similar posts, but try to get to, a different group, a different crowd. Russell Brunson is because, he does one of the funnel systems that's out there. You have marketing, cryptocurrency, multi-level marketing, network marketing. Robert Kiyosaki, somebody who I like to follow because the mindset of being in business for yourself instead of working for somebody else attracts people that have the right mindset of being in business, right? So you can adjust kind of the audience or the people that you want to get it in front of to some extent here. But again, the people you're already connected to, the groups you're in, all those things we had talked about, those do play a big part in who sees your audience. Because you notice this says this audience includes 62 million people, right? That's a crazy number of people. How many people is it actually going to get in front of? Well, it shows you people reached is going to be roughly 57 to 169 more people out of those millions. So depending upon how much you spend, it'll determine how many people of that targeted group are going to see your ad. There may be good people in that 200. There may not be. You just never know. So, by only spending like, $1 a day or $2 a day on a boosted post, though, you can get some pretty good results. So most of the engagements I've had from this particular ad, and really there's not much else to it other than having a payment method. I picked that it should go in front of, I usually turn off Instagram. I usually do Facebook only just because I'm not an Instagram person myself. So I tend to just do Facebook. There's not a lot to it. And let's go back. So I can show you here. So, I mean, so far I've spent $30 on this ad and I've generated 35 people that I didn't know before that were attracted in, that even though 2,000 have seen it, only 35 actually hit that send message button. And this one I spent $20 and I ended up with 7 conversations started. This one was 5 conversations started and I spent $10. So that's actually, $2 per conversation that was started. But out of that list of people in my inbox, I probably have 30 people at any given time that I'm in some process of conversations with. These are all brand new people that I never knew, just simply from doing a few posts and only boosting one post twice and another post once. That's all I've done is boost some posts. And I have all of these people that are reaching out saying, hey, I'm interested. Can you tell me more? So who has questions now?
Yeah, no, I think you went over everything pretty thoroughly. I was following along the whole time.
Okay. Just looking through my notes, seeing if there's anything that I wanted to say that I missed. Yeah, I think I covered everything that I planned on covering. So I know this was supposed to be a 101, but ultimately what I just gave you wasn't really just 101. It went from creating your page all the way through all of the mindset behind it and everything. So this was 101, 202, and 303 all rolled into a 2-hour session. So
yeah, well, thanks for taking the time to help go through it. I think it'll help a lot.
Very good. All right. Well, if nobody else has any questions, I turn off the video.